Hello, hello. Right. Let's see if this works. This is part two. I don't know how I'm going to piece these together. Let me see if I am on here. Oh, gosh. I am so not techie. And it's not coming on now. Well, it's showing I'm live. I don't know if I am live. Ah, here we go. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's try again, hoping people will find me. So basically, this is part two because the connection broke. And I was telling you about our story. This is travel transition together. This is about the realities of getting sick when you travel. And I've just gone through my our story about my two children, ages 5 and 9, Jasmine and Serge, getting impetigo while we're traveling, full-time traveling family. So hopefully I can piece that together. The other one. Yeah. But basically, got impetigo, couldn't get rid of it, lots of antibiotics. We were in Vietnam, we're now in Bali. It reappeared, back to the doctors, more pharmacies, more antibiotics, more staying away from people, can't use the pool, all the difficulties, trying not to get it ourselves, feeling run down ourselves. It's not been easy. So, in case I can't piece together part one, that's a quick rundown. Um, and so now it's sort of like, over to you. Have you got a story about when you or a loved one has been ill abroad? Unfortunately, what's happened. Our example of impetigo, a contagious skin disease, is a skin condition, is quite trivial compared to a lot of people. So, um, I know there's bigger stories out there, but whatever. Is anything happened to you while you travelled, and has it changed how you travel? Do you prepare a little bit more? We're going to dive into that now. So, the reality of getting ill abroad. So, yeah, got to find healthcare. Um, you know, you can be so prepared that fear takes over. I think I want to say about that. I I was reading a comment in one of the world schooling groups saying that they want to do this. They want to travel full time as a family, but they're so worried about getting sick abroad. Um, and having the travel insurance, I'm going to get onto that in a minute, but having the travel insurance to do it, and just the fear around it and not knowing. And I understand that, I appreciate that. I don't take this lightly. But I think when you do this, it's something you've got to factor in, but just don't let the fear boil you. The doctor definitely, finds out where they are. And what we did, this is why I'm so big on community wherever I go. And having these world skilling groups has been really good, because you can ask. And we asked. We'd heard that there was some bad experiences of certain hospitals, and so we were like, which is the best hospital? So we knew that this one in the middle of Vindhoek was recommended. So that's why we went there, and we had good experiences each time we went. So we're glad we took that advice. But had we not been on the groups, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And we would have probably gone to the more local one. Who's to say our experience wouldn't have been just as well? But that was our experience. And the other reality of getting ill abroad is the different standards between countries. If you're going with, we're obviously from England, and if you go with an idea of Western standards and you're going to get that kind of care. I mean, well, it's all perspective, right? What some person thinks of the NHS, someone else might have a completely different experience of the NHS. So you can't even say that now. You go with Western standards and expect that over in Southeast Asia. Our experience was a good one. So I don't think we can standardize. Some people would say, well, they have on mine and my husband's channel. They've said, you'll be back to use the NHS and things like this. And the care has been just as good, if not better, in some experiences that we've had. The experience in Hoi An there was really good. We couldn't fault it. We literally had we were greeted by someone as soon as we walked in. We were all like, "Oh my God, is anyone going to speak English?" Greeted by somebody and taken everywhere we needed to go, which the first place was to go and pay, put a deposit down, and do your passport and all that. Then we were taken to someone else to wait, and then we waited for the doctor. She came in with us all the time because she was the interpreter. She was speaking English to the doctor, the only thing I took me off guard was I was surprised that the doctor didn't speak English, but that's just my preconceived ideas, right? But that was fine. She interpreted fine. We had that. We waited for the prescription. She helped us through that. She talked us through what we need to do and left a number with us if we needed contact. It was fine. We had no problems. So when it comes to standards, I think just maybe not expect a certain thing because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. And yeah, and it's just not getting into that fear. Language barriers, Google Translate's your best friend. In Malaysia, fine, most speak English. And in fact, from a health perspective, I have been having some issues with my neck. And like I said, I was a previous physio in a previous life. So I wanted someone to see my neck. So we were right opposite a physio. So I went in to see someone and I had really, really good care. I thought, what's one session going to do? Back in England, you take so long to do a consultation that you don't get that much treatment in one session. But I got a lot. I got a lot for my money in Kuala Lumpur. So that was a good experience there. In Vietnam, not as many people spoke English. So there was that language barrier. But like I say, Google Translate saved the day. And here in Bali, more people, I would say, than Vietnam do speak English. So it's been a lot easier here. So our experience of going to the doctor here was easier. No translator needed. So that's that. Rest isn't always easy when you're traveling and moving. Yeah. So when these things hit, like ours hit in between transition time, right? So the girls got ill when we were in Vietnam and thought we'd be out of the woods by the time we left. And we thought we were, but we got here and it kind of started up again. So that all happened throughout the travel. And you've got flights and you've got all that to deal with and you've got creams to do and just it's not easy when you're traveling and reality of getting ill abroad. The last one I've got there is temperatures and suitable accommodation. So yeah, I mean 39-degree heat in not fully air conditioned accommodation and having to stay there because the situation, it's not easy. So they're the realities. If you haven't got suitable accommodation, I mean, at least we had the house to ourselves. It was our own space. If we were in a homestay and we're literally just in a room together, that would have been even more difficult because that's the accommodation we first went into. We got to Hoi An was a homestay. So that's, yeah, literally like a B&B really back home. Okay, let's see if there's anyone in those comments. Is Alison back with me? No? Oh, it's gone off again. Uh, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, well, it seems to be working on there. I'm just going to send a quick message to hubby, see if he can get off the internet. I'm just going to send a quick message to hubby, see if he can get off the internet. I'm just going to send a quick. Okay, I'll see if that makes a difference, but I'm just going to carry on regardless. Okay. Okay, so we move on to, let me turn it down. Okay, so what if something's more serious? In the comments, have you had something more serious where you've actually had to have hospital stays, and what's that been like? I'll come on to some people that I know of in a minute to talk about the different types of travellers that are dealing with these things. But yeah, hospital stays, more cost, more time taken out of your plans, right? More anxiety. It's just not nice when it becomes a serious thing. Maybe you don't have the support here as well, which is got to be hard. Having someone at home know where you are, especially if you're a solo traveler, right? So having someone know where you are all the time, especially when it's something more serious, and having emergency contacts and that kind of thing. So we move on to travel insurance. Travel insurance. This is a bit of a debate, isn't it, on all the groups? Which travel insurance are you with? Is it worth having? And then you hear stories about travel insurance is not paying out. And, what do you do? So for us, we decided to do an annual travel insurance. We use True Traveller. I think that's what it's called. um, Obviously, we haven't used it for this episode because it's just a small change, really, isn't it, with the paying the prescriptions and things. Because it wasn't that much. Our first trip to the hospital in Vietnam was £10. That was a consultation and the first lot of medication and antibiotics and a cream. So that's how much that first one was, and I've lost track of how much the rest of it has been. So yes, we chose annual because just easier. Didn't have to think about it and think about factoring it in the budget. We may have to go back to monthly from next year, or we're even deciding to just self-fund it. But that's up in the air, isn't it? I don't know. We haven't made a decision on that. What do you do? What do you do with insurance? What's your choice? Who do you go with and why? Put it in the comments, because this is something that is a lot of debate around. We have heard of somebody losing a lot of money and fighting to get back. Wording in travel, insurance policies, whatever insurance policy, travel, car, whatever, right? So it's worth looking into. And just knowing where it all is, so both the parents need to know where it is, so if anything happens to the other one, both got a copy of it. Yeah. Different travelers face different challenges, so this is the interesting one, isn't it? So I'd love to hear different people's take on this, depending on what kind of traveler you are. So you could be family like us, and you're looking after children. And for us, we're like, we don't want to get it either. So we're being extra vigilant with washing hands and things like that. But we're also exhausted because we're not doing anything. We're not going anywhere, but we're like clock watching. We're making sure, if they don't eat, then we can't give them the medication. You know what it's like, it's no different to being back home, but you just feel like you're losing out on fun and adventure, right? So yeah, it's not easy when it's a family, because one goes down and it affects the whole family, doesn't it? Solo travelers. So who helps if you're admitted to hospital? Who helps you to go to the pharmacy and get your things when you can't get out of bed because you're so exhausted, or you're throwing up and you've got the other, and what happens? I mean, I saw a video here in Bali I saw a video of a young woman. She was on her own, solo traveller, and she got to Bali Belly. So we were aware of Bali Belly, and we thought, oh no, our immune system's already low and we're going to Bali. But we've learnt about the different ways of getting it. It's not just through food, it's through lots of things. So we're just being extra vigilant. But this woman, bless her, she was on her own, and a lot of the doctors will come to your hotel. So you can find out who does that, and get them to come. And she needed to have the IVs and everything. So and I feel for that. I feel for the solo travelers. So I'd love to know your experiences on here and help other solo travelers that have gone through this. It can't have been easy. That's all I can say. My heart goes out to you if you've had something like that where you've been in hospital, the more serious end of it. How's it been for you? And you must. This is when you want your kindness to kick in from other people, right? This is when you want the help from community and society. And I hope there's some good stories. See, it's not just doom and gloom. We can get some good stories out of this. I hope that any solo travelers out there that have been sick have felt some kindness from a stranger in their time of need. Retirees or older travelers. Now, I imagine, I'm just assuming, so if there's any retirees here, tell me, but I assuming it can be quite worrying, if you're older, and you get ill. Are you a solo retiree traveller? Are you a couple? Do you get worried about this, about getting ill when you're abroad, because you're older? I don't know, let me know. But it's just a different take on it, isn't it? It just might feel a little bit different to your solo and your family traveller. And the couples, so you've got lack of support for the other one. So we know, class him as a friend now. So he's called John Talks About, his channel. And it was literally a couple of months into their traveling as a couple, and he took unwell and he did end up in hospital, and it did get to the point of being quite serious. He's talked about it on his channel. He's ended up with sepsis, which is very, very serious. I remember we hadn't left at that point, and we were in the process of still selling our house and everything, watching him, and the whole community on his channel. I mean, I remember stood in our kitchen talking to Richard, my husband, about it, and saying, I hope John's all right, because we'd gone a few days without hearing anything. And then next thing you know, he's got sepsis and stuff like that. So his whole community was behind him. And, we don't hear enough about the positive side of social media, but I really saw it and felt it for him at that time. But I really felt for his wife, Yvonne, because it's just the two of them. And she's going from the accommodation to the hospital backwards and forwards. She's exhausted. She's anxious. She's worried. She's not got no physical support. She needs a hug, all these things. So if you're a couple and you don't have anyone else to think about, to take your mind off it, or to give you that support, then it's got to be difficult. But it's the challenges. It's the real life of travel. It's what can happen, and we just have to prepare for it. So the things that we've learned, and probably what we'd do differently now. I don't know if we would do anything differently. I mean, I've got here basic medical kit. I try and do things as natural as I can. I've got homeopathy with me. I've got aromatherapy with me. We have the usual bandages and plasters and all these things. But, there comes a time when that's not enough, right? And you need some medical assistance. So I don't know. I don't know what we'd do differently. I mean, I said there, learn where your healthcare is, but we didn't. Someone had posted in Vietnam, someone had posted a doctor in the group. So I did screenshot that. So if I needed it, I've got a local doctor that's been recommended from the group. And actually he was a pediatrician, and he's the one that recommended Vindhoek Hospital. So maybe that's probably what I would do. I would take a bit more notice of contact details. I mean, someone put on the group like a little emergency sort of poster in the group. I didn't even know what the emergency number was for Vietnam, so that's a bit of a slap on the wrist for me. So that, yeah, I think, what's the emergency number for the country? Where's the local hospital? Where's the doctors? Where's the pharmacies? Just have it listed somewhere in your phone and forget about it. Okay, and it's just there. Don't go over the top into fear, is what I'm saying. Copies of prescriptions, yeah. So we've taken lots of pictures of how it's progressed, how the skin condition's progressed, which is then dated, isn't it? Because it's logged in your phone. We've taken pictures of the prescriptions, pictures of all the creams we've had, because you can't always get the cream that's prescribed, and then you go around the pharmacies, they don't have it, but they have something else, and you end up with something that's not on the prescription. So as long as you just have it somewhere, document it, get it in a photograph, get it in a folder on your laptop, and then you've always got it to refer back to, because we have needed it. We have, now we've come to a different country. We've had to relay the whole story about Vietnam and what we used and get them up to speed here. So it has been useful for sort of documenting everything. Allowing flexibility in plans, and, back to my buzzword, mindfulness. So allowing what is, accepting what is, you can't all be steadfast in, going to a country. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to achieve by the end of it before we move on. Things happen. Life happens. Sickness happens. Just as much as it would if you were back home. That's the way of it. And it's having that acceptance attitude when it does. It's gutting. Mindfulness isn't about like, oh, accept what is, whatever, feel it. We've said to me and hubby have sat on a night going, oh, gutted we didn't get to see the sights in Hoi An, and we're gutted we haven't used this pool. There's real life things that we're really feeling, but in the grand scheme of things, we haven't had a hospital stay. We're still okay. There's always blessings to look for. So just have flexibility in your plans, knowing where hospitals, doctors, pharmacies are, but not out of fear, out of practicalities. I think that's the thing I'm saying. And that's where I said about, that poor woman, she was in that much fear that fear of what to do if you got sick was stopping her making that jump to leave UK and travel full time as a family, which is what she wants to do. Whether or not she'll do it, I hope she does. I hope she does. Someone actually, yeah, okay. Right, let me jump back into the comments. Is there anybody there? Is there anybody there? Can you hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up, because I'm having such technical difficulties here over this way. It's our last time here, so hopefully at the next place we will have better connection. Okay, so yeah, travel isn't just about sunsets and beaches, it's real life. And children get sick just like they do at home. Infections happen, plans change. It's gutting. It's not easy. The difference is just learning how to cope when you're in the different environment. And that's how I'll end on that, really. Just having things in as best you can, best laid plans as best you can. Let's end on a positive. So, any good stories when you were getting ill? When you were ill abroad, is there anything good come of it? I don't know. I was trying to think. I don't think, even from just holidaying, I can't even think. I know the first time we took Jasmine away, she was 1, and she was sick all over me once after having we were out at dinner. I had a bright yellow, like this yellow kind of colour dress on, and she was sick all over it. But it's a memory, you know. So it was just in the middle of the restaurant, all the way down. You know, we laugh now. I wasn't laughing at the time. I don't know. Did you marry a doctor who saved your life? You know, any stories like that? Let me know in the comments. Yeah. So that's it. A little bit of just if there's more of us in this community, we can be, you know, to-ing and fro-ing, giving some tips. If you're watching on replay, still drop it in the comments if I can get it on replay. Don't know how to put 2 things on replay. So yeah, get it in the comments. Let me know anything that I've talked about there, if any of it resonates with you, if you've had an experience of any of this, whether you're a solo traveller, families, retiree, just holidaying, whatever. Let me know if you've had any sickness abroad and how you've dealt with it and how you've gone forward for next time. If it's been useful, let me know in the comments. And if you've got any other topics as well for future, let me know. I've got a few on the list here. Kids adapting to movement and change, and being homesick. I'm hearing that in a lot of the world school groups at the minute. Missing community while constantly moving, which is why I did this travel transition together. Community while traveling, same kind of thing. Maintaining relationships abroad, especially in between, you know, the parents themselves. I'm also seeing lots of co-parenting out here. So parents that have split up, but they're still traveling together. Friendships on the move. How do you make new friends? How do you keep in touch with your friends back home? Logistics. So visas, flight changes. So well, we went through a whole. We're still trying to get refunded from a flight that we were told to cancel, and now we don't even know if we're going to get the money back. That's another story. Poor accommodation, temperature of your country, these kind of things. So if there's anything like that that resonates with you, let me know in the comments and I can put it on the list and we can do it next time. So the next one is going to be on the 19th of July. Wow, flying. So I do it every 2 weeks. This one is the 1st and the 3rd Sunday of the month. And what I like to end with is just, you know, a little bit of reflections on the previous sort of fortnight, really, since we last met. How, you know, how can we support here in the community with things like the tips and the experiences that we've just shared here? And also how any celebrations for the week. So, or the fortnight. So I would say challenging for the last 2 weeks was probably the move here and then it all starting again. That's definitely been our biggest challenge. You know, we keep saying it. Hopefully we are out the woods. Jasmine's on her last antibiotic tomorrow. Sage has got a few more days. So we're just hoping. We're hoping we're out the woods. Celebrations. Well, yesterday, and I think this is very important. This is something that can be a topic actually, because I think this is definitely something that if you're traveling, as well as a family, particularly, that you give yourself some time out. Really, really important. If I could give anyone some advice who's watching this, who it wants to leave their home country and travel full time as a family, it's to make sure you give yourself some you time, because if you're not already a family that live very closely together, like, you know, you might all work from home and your kids might home educate, and unless you're in that sort of situation, which we we were home educating, but hubby worked away. This is quite intense. I relay it to my time when I worked on cruise ships. It's very intense relationships. And until you're in it, you don't realize how much so. So we give ourselves some time out. And my celebration is that yesterday I had mine. And as we are in Ubud right now in Bali, it's quite a hippie sort of yoga place, which is right up my street. I love that. And I was vegan before I left, and I transitioned back to vegetarian just because I thought it'd be easier around here to be more vegetarian than vegan. But I would prefer to eat vegan, and there's lots of vegan food here. So yesterday I went and I took my journal and I had a cacao in this yoga cafe. I had a yoga session booked at 11 o'clock and I did that. I haven't been to a yoga class for I don't know how long. I do my own little sun salutations. I haven't done a class for ages, so it was quite intense towards the end. So I was quite glad for the end and the relaxation. And I saw colours in my at the end that I haven't seen ever. So I don't see a lot when I meditate. I've said this before. I see sort of like a yellowy, greeny colour and a purple. That's all I see, sort of doing this. But yesterday I saw pink and blue. It's big news. So that was in the yoga. Then I had some lunch, really healthy, lots of kimchi, getting the gut bacteria in there. And then what did I do? Then I had a massage, which was nice, but a little bit odd at the same time. I had a back massage and a reflexology, and I'm sure they used a stone for the reflexology, and they just literally put this stone random places on my feet, which is not reflexology. But for like £6 including tip, you can't complain, right? So that was nice anyway. And then I went back to the yoga place 7 till 9 and did ecstatic dance. Have you ever done ecstatic dance? Put that in the comments. What do you think of it? It's people just say you're just dancing to music, but it's different kind of dancing. It's different kind of music, and you're just in a safe place where there's no judgment, so you can dance however you want, however your body wants, without feeling judged. And it was just yeah, really nice. I mean, I'm all for that anyway. I kind of do a bit of that on a morning anyhow, but there's nobody there when I do it on a morning. So to be in a room full of people and sorry, I've got mosquito flying. Um, the uh, the architecture of these buildings where these yoga studios were just amazing. I'll put it on my channel. I'll put some pictures on there because it was really good. So that was my day yesterday. So that was my celebration. Hubby had his day today. So definitely recommend that. Support and celebrations for intentions for coming weeks. I am starting to come off my phone, which is feeling good already, which is making me feel more present. In the next 2 weeks, like I say, we'll be at a new place. So we're going to Denpasar, which is towards Sanur in Bali. We've got another 2 weeks there. So a new place, those uncomfortable feelings again. Is the accommodation going to be okay? Are we in walking distance to places? All these kind of things. So yeah, I think the challenges will be to get settled again, and we're only there for 2 weeks. So the challenges will be to get settled, and the hopeful celebrations will be that we can get in the pool because they've got another pool there, but it's a shared pool. So we'll have to be definitely clear before we go in. So that's our support and celebrations for reflections and intentions. Let me know what yours are in the comments if you're watching this on replay. And yeah, all that's left to say is let me know if any of that helped. Do put something in the comments what has helped with you and your travel while being, any sickness while you've been traveling. What kind of traveler are you? Let's build this community and help each other out. And put any topics that you want to talk about in as well. The next one is the 19th of July. So I'll see you back here then. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience in this, in the tech difficulties, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday and good night. Much love. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.